Hey everybody, my name is Donald Hookey. Originally from a small town called Port Rexton in Trinity Bay on the peninsula in Newfoundland in Canada. Um, I had a pretty normal childhood growing up. So when I was about 12 years old, I decided what I wanted to actually do for a living. I moved from a soldier in the military. When I did join the military in 1983, I ended up having to go Navy because there was only certain trades that were actually open for be actually joining the military. It's not that I couldn't switch trades later down the road, which I ended up doing to an army trade. Initially, when I started out as a technician, and I was going to school in St. John's, Newfoundland, at the Marine Institute. Fortunately, due to being so young and naive at the time, I allowed drinking to kind of take over my life, getting out on my own, didn't pass that course, and I was forced to take a new trade, radio operator in the Navy. And a few years after I was in that trade, we amalgamated with the signalman side of the trade to create a new trade called the naval communicator. Uh, as I mentioned before, when I was 12, I always wanted to be a soldier in the Army. And I had intentions on switching trades multiple times anyway throughout my career. 2004, I actually had the opportunity to remuster to an Army trade called MSE Alpha, or Mobile Support Equipment Operator. On the non-military side of things, it's just known as trucker, so I was a trucker in the Army basically. During my time in the Navy, I did a Canadian operation. I was a part of the Swiss Air Recovery crew on board HMCS Preserver. That crash happened September 2nd, 1998. Not going to go into details. I can say I was affected somewhat mentally at that point in time. Uh, I did seek help at the time through the jigs and reels. I was put back to work pretty much right away. I did a tour of duty on board HMCS Charlottetown, January to July of 2001. We were part of USS Harry S. Truman Battle Group. We were the only Canadian unit in that battle group. We only spent probably about a month in northern Persian Gulf, so up around the Iraq-Iran border in the waters. After that, September 11th happened. That same year, the terrorist attacks on New York. Uh, I remember being at the radio station in Halifax on the base in the Trinity building, and it was just nuts. It was crazy. I remember literally showing up for a 12-hour shift where the phones, not just phone, but the phones would be handed. This was this person, this was this one. Look at the logbook and hopefully hope for the best. It was a really busy time. Um, After I remustered to trucker in the Army, posted from Halifax, CFB Halifax to CFB Edmonton. Um, I did a tour of duty in Afghanistan from near the end of January to first or mid August of 2006 as part of rotation number one in Kandahar. During that time frame, I was actually attached out to an American infantry company, um, and I can honestly say that I'm extremely happy that I'm still in contact with some of those guys that I met over there. Yeah, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, or what country or background you come from. When you find common ground, I know not really common ground, but when you go through a lot, uh, kind of get really close, and you know who's got your back and who doesn't. So after I returned, I was medically released from the military in July of 2009. My wife and I decided we were going to move back to Newfoundland. That's where we finished raising our family, and two girls are now in adulthood. One has moved to Nova Scotia, to Quebec, to Ontario, and back to Newfoundland again. Um, the other one, she's actually been in the army now for a little over 5 years, and yeah, she's married to a gentleman that's in the military as well. Um, some of the struggles that I've had. Like I have physical injuries, so there's injuries to my feet, both knees, uh, my hips, lower back, uh, some stomach issues. I have tinnitus ringing in the ears. I have hearing aids that also mask some of that tinnitus. I do have contacts in that my eyesight's not due to the military. It's just I'm getting older. Um, I sleep apnea. I have a multitude of different other mental health injuries as well. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, anger issues, outbursts. Uh, I struggle with alcoholism. I've been sober for a number of years. I try to do it on my own. I don't recommend doing that. I started in AA 3 years this September coming that and just knowing that I'm not alone, knowing that there's many different people from many different walks of life that struggle with alcoholism or any kind of addiction for that matter. I think that was a huge eye opener for me. Um, One thing that really helped me was allowing myself or giving myself permission to be able to change my mindset. Uh, my rock bottom was I was actually sick and tired of being sick and tired. I ended up getting put onto a pain management clinic program here in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador for having chronic pain. And it was the first time that I actually consciously understood that your mental health and your physical health are so intertwined. Bringing one up will actually allow the other one to increase uh, as well. Vice versa, allowing one to go down will bring down the other, of course. I've taken multitude of therapies, different courses, just to try to get myself back to some kind of normalcy of whatever normal is supposed to be. Um, there's organizations that are out there like True Patriot Love, Wounded Warriors Canada, Veterans Transition Network. I mean, I could go through a whole list of different organizations out there that put out multiple different programs for military and first responders. Um, there's other informations uh, that's out there just to improve on your mental health and your physical health as well. Um, Shortly after I finished the program, pain management clinic program, I started doing some research, not just Googling generalized stuff. I was actually looking for specific clinics and seeing what was available for basically helping with chronic pain. And I came across an osteopath, and the result that you're seeing today. I was 255 pounds, size 38, very tight 38 waist in jeans, where the button was under a lot of stress. I'm now down to about 175. I mean, fluctuates 5 or 10 pounds depending on the season, of course. Uh, Down to a 30 inch loose jeans now. Um, and I'm not going back to that weight. I'm not going to go back to being super unhealthy anymore. And the osteopath actually put me onto a natural path. I found out I was actually deficient with certain supplements that my body actually needed. And yeah, I started taking supplements that I actually needed to supplement my body with due to like a genetic testing. Um, yeah, I follow a bunch of different people on social media that improve on your mental health. There's life coaches. I did have a life coach. I'm actually going to mention his name. He's down in Maine, down in the U.S. There. A phenomenal guy, Stephen Barton is his name. He did write a book. I do have his book. It's one of the first books I read actually on self improvement. It's called The Father, the Son, and the Aha Moment. I've read books by Ed Milet, which is The Power of One More. Um, Simon Sinek, start with why. There's a multitude of books. Some of the organizations that are out there, like I mentioned, True Patriot Love, Wounded Warriors Canada, Veterans Transition Network. uh, there's couples programs that were out there that my wife and I took to actually bring us a little bit closer together as well. I think for me, it was one. I, I kept playing the victim game. I kept blaming others for me being in the situations that I was in. The only common denominator in all of my issues, all of my struggles, was that person that was staring back at me in the mirror. So knowing, I think knowing that I wasn't alone in my struggles. There's other people that are going through this. There's people that are out there that have a lot more struggles than I do. Um, I think just knowing that makes me want to improve on my life. Um, yeah, so you think you're struggling or you know you're struggling, and you want to tell your story or reach out for help, message me. Let's have a chat. Um, I'm not a medical professional. Um, I'm not a mental health professional. I just, if my story can actually help somebody else improve on their life, then that's the purpose behind this. It's just to help each other. It's just to improve not ourselves on a professional or personal level, but to actually help communities grow and just to make this place a little bit better place to live instead of allowing what's going on in the world today to overwhelm us and basically put us backwards. So again, if you're struggling, know you're not alone. Reach out. Um, if you are in crisis mode, please reach out. There are crisis lines out there. Reach out to 911 if you have to. Just don't give up.